Falcons are
right?
tomorrow. Yeah, I'm taking family
Nice.
tomorrow. And
Supposed to play some of the
Kendall's
starters.
Kendall's like, can I wear Broncos gear?
Oh,
And I'm like, well, we're sitting in the seat, so you can do whatever. You want. I don't care.
I forgot it was the Broncos.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't
That'll
care.
be fun.
I go, I don't know what you're gonna wear because everything is long sleeve, but ready?
Yep.
And welcome to Tales from the Tip. I'm DA. Normally, I'd say alongside 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo, but Mick took Rory's advice and is taking the first round of the playoffs off. So, I brought in not only a good friend, but one of our biggest supporters, and a guy that you have seen regularly on this channel. He is the Chief Operating Officer of La Cima Restaurant Group, aka Twin Peaks, Mr. James Porcello. James,
Glad to be here, Dave.
welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I think Augusta. was
I
the
think
last time.
Augusta was the last time we had you on. Well, I will say this. Augusta was the last time you and I did the podcast
Correct.
alone. Mick and I were here, and you
I made a
are
couple
always make some
appearances.
cameo appearances while we're on. So, what is new with you guys? Tell us what's going on with you.
You know, it's been a good summer.
Okay.
It's been a good start to the season. World Cup was great for us, as you can imagine. Believe it or not, we actually did probably better for some of the international games, even in the U.S. Especially with Mexico.
I don't doubt any of it. I saw the numbers from our good partners at Anheuser-Busch with Ultra.
Yep.
The numbers that they were sharing with us, and that's what they're sharing with us, was unbelievable. And you only have a handful of U.S. games. Everything else is in international.
And it's international.
Soccer did
Absolutely.
really well.
Really well.
Good.
Really well. So normally the summer is a little bit of a slow time for
Yeah.
us in general.
Yeah.
Restaurant business in general, unless you're in a festive market. But we did really well for soccer. This is our lull, as you see right now. School's back
Yeah.
in. Move-in week last week for the colleges. So this is. We need football. We're ready for football.
You're ready for some football.
We are ready for some football.
Well, we've got it back. I think we got some preseason action tonight. We are recording here roughly, the 12th of August. So we've got some football tonight, or 13th
And a
of
week
August.
late.
Yeah.
Season's off. The whole season's a week
Season's
late.
off.
College football, NFL football is all going to be a week later this year. So.
Labor Day is on the
Labor
7th,
Day's
which
late.
is the
Yep.
latest it can possibly get. So, it's one of those things. I think we're all ready to get back to football. At the same time, I can't believe where the summer went. But it's time to get out and play some golf, because I always say here in Georgia, there's 2 golf seasons. There's roughly mid-February all the way till end of May. And then we take a few months off, and then we come back late September and go run in full.
Well, and according to Mick, I don't work much. I play a lot of golf.
He has said that.
He said that maybe 2 weeks ago. Maybe.
Last
Yeah,
week on the
last week, I
podcast,
think. Yeah.
when you and Chris were playing down in the southern part of the state, in the Georgia section
I was
PGA
working.
Open.
I was supporting one of our beer partners.
I truly believe this. I mean, you and I are getting out
Building relationships.
next
right?
week, right?
Well, don't say that, because
Well, I'm going to say
Well, I
that
think you already told Mick. I
we
think
are
he
a
knows.
part of the Atlanta Broadcasters Association here in Atlanta, so we support our local groups, and we've got a fun outing next week at the Roswell Country Club. I've got you as one of our really good clients. You get to play with Dari.
I have not met Dari yet. I've heard some stories. but I
Dari's,
have not met him yet.
we're going to have some fun. Dari is the owner of one of the larger heating and cooling companies here in the Atlanta
Which
metro
I may
area.
have to talk to him, because I think I have an air conditioning unit in my upstairs that's pretty close to toast.
So there you go. See, look at that. We're
See?
already making connections. This is work, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
True work. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss the following. Congratulations, Michael Brennan, on his second win on the PGA Tour with the Wyndham Championship last week, putting him into the FedEx Cup playoff standings. We're going to discuss this week's event in Memphis. Right now, forget everything that you've seen on the screen already because this isn't happening yet. But the temperatures are going to be hot. That's what they keep telling me. We're going to discuss who is going to make it next week to the BMW. By the way, Mick guessed that there were going to be 3 players that were going to fall out last week.
I had 2, so we're pretty close.
You both missed.
Yep.
It was only one. Michael Brennan. And historically, for the last 3 seasons out of 4, only one player has advanced on into this top round of 70 since they've gone to 70. So a little bit news for notes there. We're going to talk about the U.S. Amateur going on as you have a highly ranked amateur player. I'm going to ask you the importance of that. And not dating us, but do you remember 30 years ago, Tiger Woods was asked to move his mark back, and it changed to golf.
And someone didn't move their mark this week.
And somebody didn't move their mark this week. Very, very true. So we're gonna discuss that, and then last, I got a little game we're gonna play. James picks the President's Cup.
Oh, I'm ready for that.
So we're gonna get that for Team USA. So, sir, if you're ready,
I'm ready.
let's grip it and rip it. Okay. Wyndham Championship, the final regular season event on the PGA Tour. Greensboro, North Carolina. Good news this week coming out of the tour. Greensboro is going to be back on the schedule starting in 28. They'll be back next year as well, but in 28 as part of the Champions Tour Series. Did you have a chance to watch much of the tournament?
Unfortunately, I missed the entire tournament. I was traveling for work, Mick, and I was actually working over the weekend, and I actually did not have time to watch any golf this weekend. Of course, I kept up on it a little bit and saw what happened at the end, but I missed the whole weekend.
So, for the most part, the story continues on the PGA Tour this year. The 54-hole leader can't hold. Bo Hostler held the 54-hole lead. Maybe not enough coffee from Bo's barista there, but Michael Brennan jumping from number 105th in FedEx Cup points rankings to number 47 with a final round 64 at Sedgefield.
I mean, he lapped the field on Sunday, to give him some credit.
He played some. I was able to watch it. By the time they got to the back, that tournament was over.
It was.
And Michael Brennan looked like he was on cruise control. He was golfing his ball extremely well, putting it in the places he needed to. On the flip side, you were watching Hostler just struggle, missing
He
fairways.
shot 3 under. It's not like he.
Well,
the last
and that's
round.
the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got final round pin placements, the whole 9 yards. It's Michael Brennan played a really,
He did.
really,
He won that golf tournament.
yeah.
Hostler didn't lose it.
And Michael Brennan is, but it's not like Michael Brennan hasn't been playing bad golf. I mean,
playing really
really just, a couple of disappointments in Detroit a couple weeks or the week prior to that. He played well up at the 3M. So, again, getting himself into position at 105 to then jump to 47. Let me ask you this question, though. What do you think? Who do you think felt more pressure, Brennan or Hostler? Brennan was sitting at 105. Hostler was at 122.
It's Hostler. He had the lead. It's pretty easy. I mean, when you get down to that, and I know Mick's talked about it a lot, and I've seen it with Nina. It's a lot easier to be that person in second, chasing down the person in the lead, than being in the lead and trying to hold it. It's a different sleep that night before.
Well, it's a different sleep. It's also you're seemingly, and it doesn't matter how many tournaments you play in, you get into that position, you know you have the lead, and you play defensive.
Absolutely.
And what happens when you play defensive golf?
But a lot of those conversations. Stay aggressive.
But defensive, but even like you think about your regular round on a Saturday or even during the week with the boys, as you and I get accused of that we don't work because we're playing golf. I call it networking. Some people call it, not working. You're still, you may be two up on a guy, and you're playing for $20. Not gonna make or break you, but you start feeling it. You got that little 4.5 foot, 5 foot knee knocker, and it's in your brain like, I can't miss this. He just rolled in a 12 footer on me. If I miss this, now I'm only one up, and all of a sudden the pressure gets there. I can only imagine when you're playing for millions of dollars, and the chance your season is over until the fall.
Yep.
And now Michael Brennan continues on. Let me ask you this question, because this isn't really one of the things but I'm thinking about it now. What are your expectations for Michael Brennan this week in Memphis, knowing that he's just played the last 3 to 4 weeks trying to get in?
He's still got a lot of pressure on him. I mean, he's gotten himself in good position. What is he, top?
He's 47th going into today.
47, so he's still got to show up this week.
Yeah.
Or you're going to drop. There are people out there, and obviously you see Spieth, the way he's playing right now. He's trying to track down a spot.
Jordan's on the outside looking in.
He knows he's got some pressure coming up behind him, especially for some people who've been in pressure situations already in this sport. And he's got some guys breathing down his neck, so I don't think it makes it any easier.
Well, you look at today's leaderboard. You look at some of the names that are up towards the top. Gary Woodland. We haven't heard about Gary Woodland in several months, since Texas.
You got Sungjae Im on the leaderboard again. He's fighting for one of those spots.
Well, and that's another one that you talk about. And as we get into the FedEx playoffs, Sungjae Im has never missed in his pro career playing the Tour Championship at Eastlake.
Yep.
Right now, if the tournament ended, he would miss Eastlake. So good to see him up there. Michael Kim's playing some really good golf these days. Guys that haven't done a lot. Where's Maverick McNeely been? Where's Harris English been? Some of these guys that have played some pretty subpar golf for them. Be curious to see what happens. Speaking of Memphis, first leg is going on. We're just talking about it now. TPC Southwind in Memphis. Headline story going in: sweltering heat, 100 degrees all 4 days.
It's not cold here right now.
It's not. As a matter of fact, my temperature gauge in the truck read 3 digits.
When I got into town, it was 101, driving down 285.
And you weren't coming from somewhere cool either.
No, Hoover, Alabama's warm.
Hoover, Alabama's warm. Okay, let me ask you this question. Heat out on the golf course is one thing. What does heat do for you guys to the restaurant business?
It does hurt us a little bit. When it gets that hot, people, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Are you really hungry when it's that hot and you're living in especially you get workers? Now, we do have the ice cold beer, which helps.
Yes,
Sometimes
29 degrees.
Even though it probably doesn't help you since it dehydrates you. But we don't want to tell anybody that, so we'll keep that a secret.
Right. Don't tell anybody.
So the beer does attract people. People want, nice cold beer after work.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of our business is blue collar, and you get a lot of people who work outside and landscape and construction, and when it's this hot, you just want to go home, take a shower, and just sit in the air conditioning and just be cool
and relax. Yeah.
And food's probably the last thing on people's minds.
I tend to not eat a lot, which is probably a good thing for me. By the way, did you hear the part where Mick made fun of me for working out?
I did.
Yeah. So my trainer,
And I
Michael,
disagree with Mick.
texted me today, and because he heard the podcast, and he said, "Don't let the Aussie get you down. We're going to show him." And I said, "Well, we got a few months because he's decided to not take a loop, which I still cannot believe, and he's going to be here to hang out with you and I. So that'll be fun."
That will be fun.
Okay, next thing. Let me ask you this question. Who out of the guys that have been playing and out of the guys, because normally going into a tournament, a guy has a couple weeks off, they're going to be a little bit rusty. Who has the advantage, though, in the heat this week? Is it the guys that have taken a week or two off, or is it the guys that have been playing? Because fatigue is going to play a factor.
Fatigue's going to be a factor. To your point, I mean, we see it in every sport, right? It's not always. It's great to win your division,
Yeah.
but it's not always great to get a bye in the playoffs. And
Right.
a team plays, and they're hot, and they're consistent, and they've got that muscle memory. A lot of times they play better, even though you had a week to rest and get healthy, but you didn't have any live fire for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then you get into it, whether it be football, whether it be, we see it all the time in baseball, right? Those wild card teams make a run every year over the teams that play with. Team plays 162 games.
Yeah.
It doesn't have more than the all-star breaks. They only break for the whole year. Other than that, they don't have more than 1 day off.
Yeah.
And they get there and they have 4, 5, 6 days off. They come out rusty.
Yeah.
So I think it probably depends on the person.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody who is fit and is in shape, it's probably a benefit to play.
Well, and a little bit, obviously today with the way these guys have their teams set up, they've got physio guys, they've got nutritionists. Kepka has his own chef that travels with him. I mean, these are the guys. You sit there and you look at it. Scotty even mentioned it. It's also the pre-prep that goes into the week.
Sure.
Hydrating, your electrolytes, all that stuff. So before you even get to the golf course, one thing that Mick and I were talking about while overnight, because Mick's working overnight this week. He was texting me and I said, well, what would you do differently? What would Mick the caddy be telling his player? He goes, well, if I know the golf course, like if we've been a regular at TPC Southwinds, which hopefully most of these guys are there. You don't need to go out there. They haven't redesigned the golf course where it's a whole new golf course. So you go work on some of the areas that have given you trouble over the last couple of years. You work on a couple of sight lines that may or may not have changed. But for the most part, you conserve energy. You may go to the range and work on a light session. Most of the time is spent on the putting green, and the rest, resting.
Yep.
Now for Mick, that's having an ice cold ultra. Okay, who do you have your eye on this week?
Spieth.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
So, in fairness to the listening audience, and there we do have
There's some bias here.
There's some folks already watching us online right now, and they're going, Dave and James, the tournament's on right now. You could look to see what the score. Yes, the leaderboard right now: Jordan Spieth, Michael Thor Bjornsson, and Kurt Kitayama, and Jake Knapp are all leading the tournament at -5. All of them are in the clubhouse at this point. With that being said,
going into the week, it was Spieth, Homa, and M.
Okay.
Those are the ones that they're in striking distance, right? They're in the 50s. They're hovering around those areas. Those were the three, and I'd love to see Jordan Spieth come.
Yeah.
And again, it's my daughter's favorite golfer, so I'm a little biased when it comes to Jordan. I'm a big
Whoa,
Jordan fan.
whoa. Hold on. We have breaking news. Nina has now switched
No, she never
her
switched.
favorite player. Oh, that's not true.
It was always Jordan Spieth until she got a text
And,
message
yes, from
Happy Gilmore's caddy.
Happy Gilmore's caddy.
So she likes them both, but
Which is fair.
Jordan Spieth was her first favorite golfer.
And given the fact that the other one has been out with a back injury
Yeah, not
for
playing a lot of golf,
couple of
is
years
sad.
now, I think it's fair. So we're going to go with Spieth. Mick would cringe at that. You know this. Okay. Okay, let me ask you this. Mick's taking Chris Wright this week. I took Bud Cauley. Who are you taking to win
to win.
the FedEx St. Jude Classic?
I mean, it's hard now, but honestly, I was Tommy Fleetwood.
You like Tommy?
Too.
I
I like Tommy Fleetwood for the rest
Listen,
of the month.
I mean,
to be honest, I'm
you
probably
wouldn't be
gonna talk
wrong.
about him in a little while.
You wouldn't be wrong. Yes, because that actually is the next question for you. Who do you have winning the FedEx Cup?
I've got Tommy.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder, back in December, Mick took Hideki Matsuyama, and I have Xander Schauffele. So
Xander's a good pick.
just to keep everybody up to date on that standings, for the majors, I lead Mick by 4 strokes.
Nice.
After really it came down to Scotty's finish at the U.S. Open and Bryson missing the cut. And based on Mick's new scoring mechanism, my total, I was trailing 31 going into that. I beat him by 35 after that. So I lead by 4 because both of our players missed the cut at the Open Championship. So really it's going to come down to who wins
I
and
think
who.
you're in a pretty good spot with
I like
Xander. He always plays well at East Lake.
I like my chances. The thing is, this is where he screwed up. Had he taken the dollars, the total winnings amount, he'd be leading me right now. Gotcha, buddy. Okay. Wanted to ask you this question. Speaking of the Open Championship, speaking of guys that are playing this week, I'm going to take you back a couple weeks. Rory McIlroy asked in the press room about his plans for the postseason, and at that time, Rory said, let me quote, he candidly noted that he has reached a point in his career where other segments of his schedule and personal priorities are taking precedence. He was unsure of his playoff status. Fast forward to this week, Rory at the FedEx St. Jude, his comments were, he mentioned that he needed to stay sharp and not wanting to sit for a month. Apparently, he also talked with some of the tour brass, changing his tune, and now he's treating these 3 weeks like a one long 12-round marathon, where staying hydrated and saving energy in the Memphis Sun is the name of the game. I want your thoughts on Rory walking his position back on the playoffs.
Hey, he's done that a few times recently.
Seemingly, Rory's MO at this point.
It's either he's walking it back or he took a break from the media. He's going to spin it as he took a break from the media, and I don't blame him for doing that, or saying that, I should say.
Listen, he has the new house in Wentworth. It's beautiful. He stayed in England. They just came back because Poppy's going to start school again. I get it.
Well, you and I talked already. I mean, when he won the Masters and completed that Grand Slam, it probably changed a little bit of his drive and motivation and perspective on what's important and what's not.
Yeah.
And maybe he's refocusing. There's nothing he doesn't need the money.
No, he definitely doesn't need the money.
So we're good. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong with him prioritizing other areas in his.
I don't listen.
He's got to answer to his family and his sponsors, not us.
Well, that's the thing, and he also has a responsibility to the tour, and that's where I understand what he was saying. Listen, I'd love to take a couple weeks off. He doesn't have to play.
No.
I mean, realistically, he would finish about 13th overall in the FedEx Cup, and now with the new standing system at East Lake, doesn't matter where you start. Everybody's starting at 0. So just go out and play 4 good rounds of golf.
That is probably the one major negative, and I know it's a weird format,
Yeah.
and I didn't like the format with somebody starting with a lead, but that is one thing of where it does take away that motivation, and the reason these guys make the money they make is because of the people who show up and watch the tournaments and watch with the TV rights and everything. When the big names aren't playing, those dollars are down.
Well, and that's the thing. I look at this tournament especially. I mean, you look at how much money. And again, it's not my money, it's not your money, but FedEx committed a ton of money to the PGA years ago and created the FedEx Cup. I would imagine at that time that cash influx to the tour helped drive more purses for everybody.
Absolutely.
All these guys have profited off of doing this. I think there's a responsibility, just like there's a responsibility for players in the league to be out there. I hate the term load management in the NBA.
Well, and that's a big part of it, right? You got LeBron James and the Lakers coming to Atlanta. People are buying tickets, and then LeBron, well, I'm going to sit this game out.
One time, so it's funny because the NBA schedule just came out today. the Sixers, who are in the Eastern
MLK
Conference,
Day.
are only
Yes.
going to be here one time. Could you imagine on MLK Day if LeBron
LeBron
James
sits out.
decides to load management on a Monday?
No, it won't happen. He knows that's a big day for the NBA and
We would
for the
hope.
league, but there is.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't
You're
control
absolutely right.
injuries.
Yep.
Listen, I don't misunderstand what I'm saying there. There are injuries that happen. He's got 82 games is a lot of games.
Watch baseball.
Yeah.
You got
Oh.
a big team coming to town, and Tarek Skubal's pitching. Your stadium's going to be full.
Yeah. Unless
But again, to your point, there is the responsibility is not to the fan directly, but it is from a financial standpoint because
Yeah.
the reason you are making the money you're making is because of the fans buying your merchandise, watching the TV, and sitting in your seats.
Yeah.
And when you don't show up, and they don't get to watch you,
yeah, it's a bad look.
It is a bad
It's
look.
a
I
bad
agree.
look. Okay, speaking of top 50, I want to get us into this real fast. Right now, I'm going to give you for the BMW because you keep mentioning Jordan. Here's 43 through 50. You ready? Rio Hitsasune, Sethith Thagala, Eric Cole, Alex Noren, Michael Brennan, Matt McCarty, Keith Mitchell, Maverick McNeely. So Mavs on the bubble right now, sitting at 50. 51 to 56. Harris English, Max Homa, Sunjae Im, Jordan Spieth, Sam Stevens, and Pearson Pooty. As I asked Mick last week, I ask you the same question. Who's in and who's out? Now, in fairness, I did not tell Mick that only one spot had moved in the last several years. And Mick guessed 3. Last year, 5 players made it in, 5 players made it out. Kurt Kitayama was in. He started 52nd, finished 37th. Bud Cauley, 53, 46, by the way. Bud Cauley, my pick this week. Ricky Fowler, 64, finished 48. Jonathan Vegas, 56 to 49. And JT Poston, my guy, 51 to 50.
Yeah.
Who fell out? Jordan Spieth, Wyndham Clark, Minwoo Lee, Jake Knapp, and Aldrich Pocky. So I ask you, who's in and who's out?
I think Spieth and M are in.
Okay.
I think they'll play well this week. Those 2 are in.
Good cuts.
And I did that before.
No, I know.
It
You've
was
got he's got notes,
before
ladies and
today's-
gentlemen.
Well before today started.
I will vouch. I gave him roughly about 24 hours notice
Yep.
about doing the podcast.
Those are the 2 guys that I selected that I thought would.
Yeah.
152nd, 154th.
Yep.
Not a big leap. Play well this week and you're in.
Yeah.
And I mean it's day 1.
Well, and Jordan's been Jordan.
They are first and
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Well,
I think
there's a tie
Sanjay-
for
yeah,
first. I think
yeah.
Sanjay's tied for 4th. But
Technically, 5th, 6th.
But he's
whatever.
only a stroke out.
He's
there.
one back.
He played well.
Yeah.
He played well today. I actually, to your point, you brought him up a little bit earlier. I had McNeely out.
Yeah.
Just the way he's been playing lately.
Yeah.
And if somebody's going to jump him, he's in that bad spot. And I went with Alex Noren out.
Yeah.
I went with those 2 out and Jordan. And
Now, Noren did play well last week at Wyndham, and so good. I was looking at the same list, and here's what I said. I don't think Harris English is going to make it.
I don't think so either.
He had
I'd
a
like
good
to see him,
now.
but I
He
don't
had a
think
good
so.
round today, but again, my notes. I don't think Max Homa makes it. I did agree with you on Sunjae Im. I also have Sam Stevens making it. Spieth, I did not.
Again,
But
that was probably emotional on
but
my
again-
behalf, but
well, I'm also reverse side of that. I had Spieth winning the Open Championship, and he missed the cut for me. So I mean, so I guess from that standpoint, I'd love to see Jordan make it. He's great for ratings. He would be great for the
Absolutely is.
BMW up in Chicago next week. We'll see what happens there. Let me ask you this question, because the only storyline seemingly that the experts on PGA Tour Radio can seemingly talk about is the Heat. doesn't ever helps tournaments that have these hot weather or warm weather climates. Hold tournaments when the media complains about it, even though they're sitting in air conditioning. I'm going to ask you this: can you remember your hottest or warmest round or tournament that you have played in?
I can.
Okay.
And it was in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was an early round, but it was still Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It was either July or August, middle of the heat, middle of the summer in Vegas. And it was after a large company event that we had, and then we did a golf outing the next day. And we may have left the blackjack table at about 5:30 in the morning to try to get a little bit of rest.
So you were really well rested.
Hydrated,
Yep. Yeah,
very
I'm
well
sure you were
rested.
hydrated,
And,
rested. You ate really well that morning.
It was 110 degrees, and the humidity. You've known me for a very long time.
Yeah.
I stopped golfing after the ninth hole.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I couldn't
that's
take
a
it.
massive statement right there.
I
You
stopped golfing after 9 holes. I had to go sit at the pool.
And that was it.
My head was not only red;
Yeah.
it just pulsed.
Yes.
From the heat
Yes.
and the humidity, and
Yeah.
it was unbearable.
Yeah.
And again, I don't. Probably the night before contributed to a little bit of how I felt, but it still was the most. It's the only time I've ever been like, I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's
Can't
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
And you weren't playing for millions of dollars on the PGA
It
Tour,
was
so
for fun,
right.
and it wasn't fun. so I
Ironic,
stopped.
mine came a couple years ago, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. We had Media Day for the Tour Championship before the redesign, and the folks over at the Tour Championship are amazing. They get you set up. You have a 4 caddy.
Yep.
You get to walk East Lake, which is amazing. It's not a hard walk. There's a few hills, but for the most part. And with the humidity and the temperatures when we started teeing off at 9 a.m. were already in the low 90s.
Yep.
By the time we finished, it was 96 degrees, and my shirt, I could wring it out. I sat like you. I went up into the clubhouse. I turned on the coldest water I could find and stood in it
Yep.
for about 20 minutes. I was cold plunging before cold plunging was a thing at that point. And I said to myself, I will never play
And that kind of heat.
in that kind of heat again. But I sit there and think about it today. So, and again, I had nothing on the line besides I got to play an amazing golf course. I think that comes down to it. If I wasn't playing at such an amazing golf course, I don't know if I would have wanted to get out there.
I wouldn't have left East Lake after 9 holes.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one. You don't want to walk in on that one. Okay, the next question, because you have caddied, and since normally we have a caddy on this, and my question to him would have been, do you remember the hottest tournament you ever carried in? I'm going to ask you the same question.
Not only do I remember it, I'll probably never forget it. And I've been in some extremely hot environments.
Yeah.
A lot of Fort Lauderdale golf, a lot of PGA National down there with Nina and Under Armour and those
Yeah.
kind of tournaments. So I've been in some and it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. Gulf Shores, Mississippi, U.S. Kids, middle of the summer, Diamond Head Country Club. It was 104 degrees, and the humidity had to be pretty close to 100%.
Yeah.
It was so bad. There was a heat advisory. Even people in that area were being warned not to be out in the middle of the day, even on the beaches. Try to keep yourself. It was that bad. And we had a U.S. Kids. It was only 9 holes, which was, thank God. Nina was young at the time, and it was so bad. They actually had 2 caddies taken by ambulance from the course. They had water on every hole.
Yeah.
They knew how hot it was. They
Yeah.
knew it was unbearable. And a couple grandfathers that were caddying their granddaughters
Yeah.
didn't make it through the 9 holes.
Oh,
Now they were okay. They just
Yeah.
overheated and heat exhaustion. But it was, to your point, when you talk about soaking through your clothes,
Yeah.
and it was
and you're just so uncomfortable for hours afterwards.
Yeah. Days.
Yeah. Well,
It took a couple days of hydration to recover from that.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah. So, folks, electrolytes, water. Don't drink a lot of beer.
I
And
wasn't
get some
drinking
rest.
any beer.
Well, you better not be.
No,
Okay.
They frown upon that.
Yeah.
U.S. kids.
So speaking of AMs, U.S. Amateur happening right now at Marion. Joshua Ryan, the Norristown native, absolutely torched stroke play, finishing 8 under par to secure the top seed medal honors into the bracket. However,
And then lost.
first round of match play to number 64, Tashimoto of Japan is ousted. Couple of other shocking early exits. Defending champ Mason Howell, the Georgia native, is out. World Amateur number 1 Preston Stout also failed to make weekend match play. Number 1 seed Miles Russell got bounced in the opening round by
64, yeah.
Ryder Cowan.
He's a pretty good golfer himself.
Yeah, I was going to say, folks, you would probably remember Ryder's name from being the low co-am at the U.S. Open this year with some guy named Jackson Coyven. Have you heard of him?
A couple times.
I think he's pretty good. Yeah.
There's no shame in getting ousted by him.
No.
He's and especially when he can pull a shot that you and I can hit all day long and hit a chip about 2.5 inches
And just-
then hold the next one.
Yes, it's unbelievable. These kids, just what you can see, and it's no different than when I'm able to get out with you and Nina's in our group. It's a different game.
It's a different.
It's a different game. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never played with an amateur golfer at a high level, the club sounds different. The
It does.
swing looks, it looks effortless, and the ball just explodes off the club face. I'm in awe sometimes of these kids and what they can do with the ball. But one of the things that I always look at nowadays, and taking you back 30 years ago, Steve Scott, runner-up to Tiger Woods, famously reminded Tiger with the most amazing 9 words that will ever change golf. Tiger, I want to make sure I find this correctly. Let me see where I got it, because I have it somewhere in here. He literally says, Tiger, I think you need to move your mark back.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, what would have happened is Tiger would have been disqualified, or would have lost the hole. But he was already down 2.
Correct.
With 3 to play.
Might have been over.
He pours that 6.5 footer in. They go on. He beats him on the next hole, and then on 18, Tiger does Tiger things and goes on to win his 3rd straight U.S. Amateur 30 years ago. Can you believe that?
No. I really don't need you to remind me that was 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Sportsmanship. That's my question.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there with a lot of these kids. Do you see the same type of... Do you think if the scenario plays out this week and we're standing there and we're watching the final match of this year's U.S. Open, amateur, and then someone needs to move their mark back, do you think that happens?
I do. And the reason I say I do is I see it with my daughter and with competition, and even with people where they're like, I really want to beat this girl, or I really want to beat. That's the cool thing about golf. Other sports, they're not going to do it. They're going to let you make a mistake, and then they're going to call you on it.
Yeah.
Because it gives you an advantage, and I don't blame people for doing that. Golf's just built different, as we all know, and I think you want to win the right way.
Yeah.
And that's an honest mistake, and not to mention they had to move the mark because you asked them to move the mark.
Right.
It's the right thing to do.
I agree.
At the end of the day, they got to make the putt. It doesn't matter. You absolutely do it. And like I said, I've seen it all. There'll be caddies. There'll be players.
Yeah.
And whether it's the women's AMs we play in or any big tournament, especially the bigger the tournament, the more they're, hey, don't forget to move them. Hey, don't, they see them lining it up. So I think it would. I think that at that level that they would.
And it's kind of ironic.
It's an integrity thing.
Mick has been really on not only Bryson a couple weeks ago at the Open, but Wyndham Clark. Recently with some of his. it's refreshing. It's also great to hear that the kids are carrying on the traditions of the game in that manner. But exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, last segment before I get you out of here. Put your captain's hat on. We're going to the President's Cup. So let me give you two this way. Your 6 automatic locks.
Yep.
That's if the tournament, if it finished
Started
today,
today.
if it started today and you had to make your picks. Scotty, Cam Young, Russell Henley, Sam Burns, Ben Griffin, Colin Morikawa. Now, I'm going to give you 7 through 12 as it stands today. Chris Gotterup, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Wyndham Clark, Justin Thomas, Jacob Bridgman. Here's 13 through 25. So the guys just on the outside looking in still have a chance to kind of work their way into President's Cup status. Akshay Bhatia, who just was on 12 side and then got bounced out by Bridgman. Harris English, Ryan Gerard, Mav McNeely, Patrick Cantlay, Alex Smalley, Ricky Fowler, JT Poston, Kurt Kitayama, Keegan Bradley, Bud Cauley, Andrew Novak, and Brian Harmon. And there's also a lot of buzz for some young kid that we just mentioned, Jackson Koivin.
He's on my list.
There's also some news, and as you look at how he played today, Michael Thorbjornsen. If Michael Thorbjornsen wins this week, does he make the conversation? So I'm going to give you a list of 3 guys, 3 groups of 3 guys. You get to pick 2, leave 1 out.
Oh, all
right. Group 1. Chris Gotterup, Wyndham Clark, Harris English.
Leave Harris off.
Harris is out.
That's
an easy one.
You gave me an easy one there. Not because I don't like Harris. I'd love to see him out there, but those 2 deserve it more than him.
Group 2. J.J. Spawn, Justin Thomas, Ryan Gerard.
J.J. Spawn. Which is weird for me because typically the one thing I really enjoy about golf and the one thing that I love and why my daughter picked the college she's going to, you earn your spot on the course.
Yeah.
But with this one, with the way the FedEx points work, I mean, you can kind of, if you play in enough of those tournaments and others can't, so I'm a little skewed. I'd like to go with, hey, 6 through 12 or 7 through 12 make it.
You're also
also
the way that the points work. You get a lot more points for winning a major.
Correct.
And in it's a 2-year window aggregate.
Correct. So that's why I'm okay with trying to. And I don't think JJ's play. He's still, his points are living a little off the Open win last year, and so that's why I'd leave him off.
Last group: Xander Schauffele, Jacob Bridgman, Jackson Koivin.
Whoa, you did save that for last.
I did.
Wow. Because I actually had when I did my list and just picked 6 randomly, I had Xander for sure. I put Bridgman in there.
Okay.
And the wild card was Koivin and a couple other golfers. And because of, and actually, you're probably sick of hearing this, but Spieth was one that I was constantly thinking of because just the way he riles up the crowd. He's a fan favorite. He plays well in that kind of format. He pairs well with a Justin Thomas and just the way you got to think about that too because it's a different.
So that's the question
else.
Really that I wanted to pose because obviously you're sitting there and you're looking.
To give you an answer, and I will.
Yeah, you're looking at it. I want your answer, but I want you to think of it from this standpoint. As you're building this team, your responsibility, because this is the PGA of America that runs the President's Cup team as well as the Ryder Cup team.
Yep.
And we know our successes in the President's Cup, and we know our failures in the Ryder Cup. Do you give more of the younger guys, a Michael Thorbjornsen, a Michael Brennan, a Jacob Bridgman,
well, I
a
had Brennan
Jackson?
in it too, and you left him off that list.
I did leave him off the list because I realistically I don't know if he's going to have enough points.
He's not going to have enough.
You're looking at. I mean, realistically, I don't see Steve going very far off a chalk. And I say that I do agree with you. I don't think J.J. Spawn has played really good golf this year. Yes, he did win. Don't get me wrong. He won in Texas. That's months ago. Current form during the majors was not there. But do you use this opportunity to grow the team with the risk of potentially losing it? Because the international team playing some pretty good golf right now.
Yes, they are.
That guy named Tom Kim's playing some really good golf. I mean, you look at the guys that are out there playing golf. Chris Wrighton playing some really good golf right now. What would you do? Do you go a little younger, or do you stick with experience?
You probably got to have a mix. You see any good sports team has a blend. They have a couple people that have been around, been through it, been through the playoffs,
Yeah.
know what that pressure's like. But the ones that do usually have a couple people that don't know any better right now,
Yeah.
right? They don't know they're not supposed to be in that setting or
Yeah.
what kind of pressure is in it. They're just in the moment. And I think you got to have a good mix.
Yeah.
I think you need to put that team together where you've got some long-term people that deserve it and can help. They've been through that, and the pressure's not going to get to them.
Yeah.
But I think you need to influx it. But, going back to that, you put me in a tough spot because Xander's in my opinion.
Oh,
There's no
absolutely.
way Xander's
Yeah.
out. Xander's in 100%. I mean, Bridgman's not a old cat either. He's a young kid.
He's a young kid.
But I think I would put Koyman in there.
Put Koyman in. I would have gone the same route up until this past week, and seeing how he handled the pressure of what was going on. I think, yes, and I've heard all the arguments, both sides. I mean, yes, he has the most recent experience playing in match play. Again, given the context of match play, you were playing against other amateurs in college.
Correct.
You're playing pro golfers. Now, there's a lot of college golfers that should be pro golfers. Don't get me wrong. I just think that there's an experience level on the tour that you need to have. I think a Michael Brennan. I'd almost like to see a Michael
Brennan
Thorby.
over both of them.
Yeah,
Or
I'd love to see a
Bjornsson.
Michael
Yep.
Thorbjornsen make the team.
Recency bias has to play a little bit into this too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in golf.
Oh,
You can't just turn it on and turn it off.
listen.
If you're struggling, that struggle could last.
I don't agree with a 2-year aggregate. I mean, you're telling me that. I mean, you look at the list and you're like, you could. Last year we were debating if Colin Morikawa should have made the Ryder Cup team, and then he went out and didn't play well in the Ryder Cup,
Correct.
and proved everybody that he probably shouldn't have been because he wasn't in good form going in. Yet this year, he's a lock as of today
Correct.
to be on the Ryder Cup team. So again, recency is
It's important.
big factor, and I think it's one of those things where we have an advantage over Europe to be able to test some of these guys under pressure moments, and we don't take advantage of it.
I had Xander, Wyndham, JT, and Goddard
Okay.
in no matter what. Those were the 4 that I picked, and all of them
Yep.
were in the top 12. Those were
Yep.
the ones in the top 12 where I thought they should stay in that
Yep.
area. And then I was back and forth on Brennan and Bridgman and
I would also put Bud Cauley in the mix
Yeah.
if he wins. If he wins this week or he puts himself in a spot. Now we're looking at Ryo Hitsatsune is at -1. I'm looking at there's Tom Kim -1. So there's Xander. You're looking at some of the guys. Ryan Gerard. I think he ran out of gas.
He did.
He played some really good golf. But yeah, there's my boy JT Pose. There you go, Alex Noren +1 right now. Russ Henley. That's one that really has me confused. Is how Russell Henley has been riding this roller coaster all year. I don't know what to make of Russ. Hopefully he gets
well,
that.
he's
fixed.
hanging on.
Yeah.
So he could fall out of that top
Matt.
6 by the time the selections have to be made.
Robert McIntyre had a bad day.
Yes, he did.
Robert McIntyre had a bad day. +12 today. So I don't know where Ryan. I'd have to go back and do some research to see where he is at. So, well, thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for teeing it up with us on Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like, hit that subscribe button, drop us a comment, let us know how we're doing. We always love to hear from you. You can find Tales from the Tips wherever you find your favorite podcast. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and now we are available on the iHeart podcast. Just search for Tales from the Tips under podcast, hit the plus button, subscribe, and enjoy. You can find us on all the socials, Instagram, X, and Mick's favorite.
TikTok.
That's right, TikTok. James knows that you can find Mick out on the TikTok, and you can watch this show live on the Twitch and now available on YouTube Live. Thank you to all those that joined in today. We appreciate it. This is the unedited version. You'll get to see all of Slim's handiwork here in the next few hours with all the editing and graphics and all the fun stuff, and we make sure that we add this guy's commercial spot in. So thanks. Appreciated you being able to do this. Hopefully Mick's back next week. 2-year anniversary on Saturday for Tales from the Tips from our first recorded date. Now, most people will say, well, wait, Dave, I didn't hear you until December.
Yep.
That's right. We recorded 9 episodes. Well, it was 9 episodes, but it was about 13 episodes total because we had to record a couple more. Long story. It's in one of the podcasts. Go back, take a listen. We appreciate it. We hope you keep your drive straight, your putt short, and your scores low. We'll see you next time on Tales from the Tips. We're out of here.